Welcome back, beautiful Libras. Thank you for joining me here. Let's get straight to your messages. I hope you guys are doing fabulous. I hope and I pray every day for you guys. Know that. Positive energy, good outcomes, guys, protection. Thank you for all your contributions and your generosity to me toward this channel. Liking, commenting, subscribing. Oh, they're straight up, not wasting any time, saying I ghosted you because I wanted to teach you a lesson. It's really difficult to compromise with you. This is your twin flame. Your guides want you to know that they are your twin, and they need time to grow. Give them a chance to reflect and change. I figured I was saving you from me. I was just not in a good place. Unavailable. I know I had to make a decision, but I wasn't in a good place to do it at the time. I hope you can understand and forgive me. Immature. I did it to get your attention, but my plan backfired. Holy Jesus. My person made me cut you off. I got caught. So they were dealing with someone else, and that person made them cut you off. They got caught. It backfired. They did it to teach you a lesson, but the lesson backfired. I was afraid of your reaction, so I decided to avoid the confrontation. I feel like I lose all control when I'm around you, and I couldn't find the right words to say to you because there was nothing that I could say that you would want to hear. Narcissism. I wasn't getting what I wanted from you, so I left to get it somewhere else. I knew I had to increase my effort to be with you, and I wasn't able to do that. I'm sorry I wasn't into you, and I didn't have the courage to tell you. That was their game, though. I felt our relationship was too toxic to continue, and I had to disappear. Even though it was difficult for me to ghost you, I knew that it was for the best. They felt that they had to save you from themselves. I thought you were involved with someone else, and I didn't want to compete for your love. I resorted to disappearing acts in order to regain control of the situation. I thought you were playing mind games, so I didn't bother. I felt you wouldn't let me end the relationship, so I ghosted you instead. I prefer superficial relationships that don't challenge me. Dating you was too much for me. I didn't want to get attached to you. I fear commitment. Fear. My past experiences made it difficult for me to open up my heart to someone again. I feared you were too good to be true. How about that, Libra? So it's all fear-based. Immaturity, ghosting, narcissism, but mostly fear and insecurity and immaturity. So they settled for someone who didn't challenge them, where they didn't need to be challenged. And that's all part of growing. What's this person up to here? See, they acted like they've got excuses, really, because they're acting like you were too good to be true, thinking you were seeing someone else, yet it was them. Ghosting. It's what they do. Yeah. See? They thought that you were seeing someone else, that you were too good to be true. They did. They changed their plans. Maybe they were holding on to something from their past. You know what I mean? Maybe they cheated in their past. Maybe they were able to get away with it. I don't know. But they thought you were too good to be true. Figured that they should save you from themselves. They were afraid of commitment. Figured maybe your family would judge them or other people would judge them. I don't know. They didn't want to give something up. They feared commitment. And they resort to disappearing acts in order to regain control of the situation. I thought you were involved with someone else and I didn't want to compete for your love. Yeah, see? They thought you had options. They were pissed off and angry about it too. But I think it was just a friend. But they were worried. It's their own fear. It's their own fears. And they resort to disappearing acts because they're thinking you wouldn't have wanted to hear anything that they had to say. So they ghost. This is King of Wands. Because they've been hurt before. They figured that they were rescuing you, saving you from themselves. That it would be better for you to just move on. That you were too good to be true. Okay? Wish fulfillment. Because you're highly independent. And they saw you as a challenge. And they didn't want to compete. They didn't want to compete. They did not want to compete. Huh? It's their fear, though. I'm not saying you was dating someone else, but in their brain, you could have had a friend, for example, who was very wealthy or was doing really good for themselves. I don't see that you were involved with anyone. Some of you maybe. And maybe some of you have gotten into new connections. They didn't want to compete. They did not want to compete. This person could have had addiction problems or something like that and could have said, well, they could have had a drinking problem and they were worried and stressed out and they're stubborn and set in their ways. And so they ghost to regain control of the situation. So it's like they do disappearing acts, stop texting, letting you believe it's unrequited love, that they don't care about you, that they don't love you. But in essence, it's immaturity. It's their own fears. Because it's like, on one hand, they think that it was best for you to move on and find somebody better. And then on the other hand, they're playing a game, but it backfired on them. They did this to teach you a lesson. They did it to gain control. And it backfired on them because, quite honestly, you might be finding someone better. It was a plan. They had a plan. They wanted you to believe it was unrequited. They wanted you to believe that they didn't care about you. They wanted you to believe that there was someone else. They wanted you to believe that, like, you were challenging them to grow, and they didn't want the challenge. See? They were pretending they did not care. They wanted you to feel that they didn't care about you. They were playing a game. They were being immature. And they thought you were playing games with them. That you had someone else. That but you didn't. You were single. But you might have gotten a lot of attention. Do you know what I mean? You could have had friends. You could have been popular. You could have had, like on your social media, you could have masculine energies or feminine energies, take it as it resonates, who like to chat with you, who like to talk with you. So they jump to the conclusions that you're with someone else. And a lot of you in these cases, it isn't even that. They think you're doing better on your own. Like, you get a lot of attention. And you may have opposite sex commenters, or people who like your posts, or people who are your friends. And they're like, oh, they're getting attention, so I'm going to ghost. I'm going to not talk to you. I'm going to act like I don't care about you. They thought you were playing games with them, but you weren't playing games with them. Like, you actually have people, you could be quite popular. You could have people you talk to and associate with, but doesn't mean you were romantically. I don't see any romance here. You know what I mean? You weren't being romantic with anybody or anything. But they got threatened by this. They did. They saw you as a challenge, and they didn't want to, like, compete. So they obviously thought that you had other suitors that were after you, or maybe were pursuing you. They don't like it. They pushed you away. Because they didn't want to put the work in. They didn't want to put the work in. They saw you as a challenge that they maybe have to step up their game in order to be with you. or become committed or act like they're committed or, you know, move in with you or purchase a house with you or live a life with you, and this freaked them out. It freaked them out. They would have to change. So this person, it backfired on them. Like, seriously. They have trust issues. Because they loved you. But they were breadcrumbing you. They were manipulating you. They wanted control of the situation. I think it really bothered them. That you were shining, that you were happy. Look. They were thinking that there was nothing that you would have wanted to hear them say. They felt like they weren't getting some. They felt like you weren't giving them what they wanted, so they found it somewhere else. Like you weren't giving in to them. You weren't stroking their ego. You weren't kissing their arse. So they found somebody who would kiss their ass. And it backfired on them. They did this to hurt you, to teach you a lesson. And it backfired. They did this to regain control. Wow. And I think that you got fed up with them. I think you had your limitations with this person. And I think you spoke your truth. They wanted you to hurt. They wanted you to hurt. They didn't want to get attached to you because they feared commitment. They didn't want to compete for your love. Come on. Like, seriously? So they settled for someone who did not challenge them to grow. But it backfired because now they're discontent. You were what they wanted. You were exactly what they wanted. But they're used to having their way. They're stubborn and they're set in their ways. And it's their fears, their insecurities, and I don't know, it's almost like this person wanted you to be insecure, wanted you to worry, wanted you to be stressed out, wanted you to believe that they didn't love you, wanted you to believe that it was unrequited, thinking that they were saving you from themselves, you know, that You were too good to be true. There's got to be something wrong with you. There's got to be something that isn't legitimate here. They gotta have another lover. You know, maybe you just got fed up listening to their bullshit. And maybe you were getting stern with them, or maybe you were calling them out on some stuff. Maybe you turned cold on them because of the way they were acting. Maybe you were believing it was unrequited love. Well, maybe they really don't care. Maybe that's what you started thinking. Well, maybe they really don't care. Maybe I better go look for someone else or be open to someone else. Maybe they really don't care. So, what's to say? It's funny how the mind can play tricks on you, eh? It's like the way that they were acting and behaving. You might have got fed up with them, and you might have said some things that made them feel rejected. Like, you might have called them out on their bullshit. You might have just said, look, this is unrequited. I mean, you're acting like you don't care. You're distancing yourself. You're acting emotionally unavailable. So are you in or are you out? That's them. Baggage from other relationships. Again, it's past baggage. So they see you talking to somebody and they jump to the conclusion that you got a love interest when it's not the case. You know, it's funny how the mind plays tricks on you. It really is. Because this person, it's because the vibes that they were picking up on. You were picking up on vibes from them, and they were picking up on your vibes. Your vibes were picking up on that it's like unrequited, like they're acting like they don't care. They're acting cold. They're acting unavailable. They're acting non-committal. They're acting this way. They're acting that way. And so that makes you defensive and probably a little frustrated or a whole lot of frustrated. And then they pick up on that energy and they jump to conclusions thinking you got another lover. Well, they're acting this way because you got another lover. No, you're acting this way because that's what they're doing to you. But they did it deliberately to teach you a lesson. To make you jealous, to make you think that they could get someone else. Well, but they are openly saying it backfired on them. Because you may not have had anybody else. And you may have actually really cared about this person. But it's backfiring because now you're getting all the attention. You're single and you've got options and you do get attention. And people do care about you, and people do respect you, and people do like you. And it seems like you're shining. You are happier now than you were before. So they're like, that's how it backfired. They figured you was going to be down for the count, you know? And you weren't. That's that immaturity and their own fears and past baggage. They were thinking you were going to be like everyone else in their past, or something that you would stroke their ego and give in to them and say, oh, what's wrong? And, you know, not saying you didn't, but they pushed it too far. They actually pushed you away. They weren't planning on doing that. It backfired on them. You left. You surrendered. Take care.